Over the past year, a small crew from CFItrainer.net had the opportunity to travel the country and speak with fire investigators at all stages of their careers to get a sampling of the great diversity of this occupation. We talked with them about how and why they got into fire investigation, the work they do, how they train, the value of membership in the IAAI, and their perspective on the biggest issues facing the profession. Our trip was not without its challenges, from active wildfires to COVID safety. But we are excited to share with you what we learned from fire investigators doing important work in the field.
My name's Kevin Lunkwitz. I'm a fire investigator for the Clark County Fire Department. Been an investigator for a little over a year. Been on the job as a firefighter, engineer, paramedic for the last 15 years. So going on to my 16th year of service for the fire department. I was born and raised in Las Vegas. I'm currently 40 years old and probably got about another 10 years of the fire service, and we'll see where that takes me. Early on in my career, I got involved in fire investigations just because I wanted to know what's going on. Why did the fire happen? I kept seeing myself as a firefighter going to put out the fire, and then I'd leave and say, well, why did the fire start? Why did this happen? And I've been a science guy for my whole life. I have a bachelor's degree in science, and I just want to know why things happen. And this was the avenue that I knew that I could get into to learn the science part of fire. And the more I dug into it, the more that I knew that this is the career path that I wanted to take. Well, ironically, I had my degree before I came into the fire department, so the chronological order is a little bit skewed, but I was at UNLV. I have a bachelor's of science in kinesiology, but I also have a minor in biology, so that's my science background, and I've always, as a kid, always been interested in science. And then I got on the fire department. There's no really correlation with physical therapy and that kind of stuff that I was shooting for, but I had friends that were in the fire department, and the more that I learned about the fire department, I knew that this is the career path, the fire service that I wanted. But the more I got into the fire service, and now being 15 years on, I knew early on that this is where I wanted to be as a fire investigator, just because I'm a science person. And like I said earlier, that I want to know why things happen. And so I just kept looking more into it, and I actually took CFI trainers to say, hey, is this why? Is this going to interest me? And I just kept taking more and more and more. And before I knew it, I was running out of classes to take. And so the process with the fire department is, Clark County Fire Department, is you have to have 9 years to even test to be a fire investigator. If you have a degree, it could be 7, but there's different nuances with that. I came around about 7 years on, and they said my degree wasn't equivalent to get me to that 9 years, so I kind of, 15 years on, why didn't you test earlier? Why didn't you? Well, different things happen in life, and you kind of aren't able to test at certain times. I have kids and a family that are super supportive, but I just didn't think it was the right time for me. And, I just kept plugging away, gathering more information about it, taking more classes. And finally, I was like, I am ready to test now. And I opened the books and I put everything I had into it. It wasn't just about I had enough time on it. It was just I needed to be ready for it. My family needed to be ready for it. And I have a great supporting cast with my wife and family and kids, and we just decided we're going head on, and it was the right time, and I put everything I had into it, and here I am now. Training to be a fire investigator, unfortunately with our department, you really just have to have time on to test to become a fire investigator. 9 years and you can test to be a fire investigator. There is no real requirements currently that you have to go through this class or take this many CFIs or have any kind of certification. But we all know that as a firefighter, you can test to be a firefighter from the beginning, but if you don't have any kind of criteria, when you get to the interview and they say, are you ready to be a fire investigator, you're not going to do well at the end. So I met with Chief Heenan and tried to see what can I do to make sure that I'm ready for this profession as shifting from a firefighter to a fire investigator. It's a huge difference. And he told me, take classes, take your CFI trainer. And ironically, at the time, I was a training instructor with the fire department, so I knew that there's a lot of legal issues with the fire side of things, but if you talk about fire science, and there's a lot more legal issues with the fire investigations. And so I picked up where he told me. He said 921 is your ultimate source, 1033. Read those and know them like the back of your hand. And go on to take these CFI trainers. As we all know, that CFI trainer is our golden standard throughout our country to take those classes and learn. And that's what I've done, is try to prepare myself the best. I got FIT certified by taking the CFI trainers, and I'm hoping to move on to be CFI in the near future once I have my time on and can test for that. The biggest challenges that I have as a fire investigator is being able to fit in the training that we have. And it's fire service, fire investigations, everything is changing. Technology is changing every single day. So being able to stay up, and CFI trainers putting out more and more on, hey, this is our new technology with car fires, with the hybrid vehicles, with any kind of new construction. It's hard to keep up on training and also run the calls that we run. We are pretty busy at the Clark County Fire Department, so managing the time is always an issue, and you just got to put the work in so you're ready for that next step, and you can get into the new training. And the new 921 that's coming out this year, there's different variables, and you just got to keep your nose in the books and be ready for the next step. Things that would help me do my job better is technology and understanding the technology, whether that's through training, but also having tools to help me in that process. We're still using flashlights and stands to project our scene lighting, and then collecting evidence with paint cans, and obviously they're doing it the right way, but I think there's a lot of technology out there that we're kind of slowly diving into through the investigation field, and I think it's going to be great to see where it goes in the next 10 to 20 years and learn about that. But there's a lot of things out there, that thermal imaging cameras that have come a long ways, and just being able to use that technology to my benefit and learning how to do that. So I became a member of the IAAI probably about 6 to 8 years ago, when I was just thinking about testing and wanted to be to have access to a CFI trainer and that. And I'm currently involved with the Nevada IAAI as a board member, and looking to become involved with the IAAI International to be a liaison of something of that sort. And it opens up the opportunities to learn, to gather more information, and talking to other people, and networking through to meet these people and learn what they do, maybe in a different part of the country, and having these membership to talk to people and learn, hey, maybe I need to look at what they do so I can bring it back here. And it opens up the world for training and learning about different things throughout the country, rather than just what's happening here in Las Vegas. So reaching out to people when I just wanted to be an investigator, what I did was definitely reached out to Chief Heenan, because he was the pinnacle of our entire nation. That's kind of gone. He's a very well-known individual, and I knew that was a place to start. But I also looked within our own department in Las Vegas and talked to some of those investigators to what I needed to do, and they told me training. That the one thing you can do as an investigator, you really can't go and shadow an investigator on the fire department. Probably as a private investigator you can, but you can't really do that here in our department. So it was imperative for me to use the training tools that I had. I did talk to some private investigators as well, and unfortunately I can't go out on the scenes with them as well. But the only way that you can really mimic the things that they do is through going online and doing training online. And so I took their advice and got as far into the training as I could. Documenting my CV, I was told that it's a vital statistic to have on your plate, vital documentation to have, just because you're going to be challenged at some point, whether it be on the private side or on my side, the public side, that you may go to court and you may face things in civil or criminal investigations, and you need to have your experience put down on paper. And if you don't have it, they can challenge you as an expert in court. And so it's vital that every class that you take, every certification that you get, you document it on your CV so that you do have some kind of backup when it comes to somebody challenging you. And the ultimate goal is to be a certified fire investigator and to continue to carry that credential along with you throughout your career. But not only that, you need to continue to show that you're up to date on training, not just from 10 years ago or 5 years ago because you took a class. You need to be up to date on 1033 standards every single year and make sure that you're staying up with those classes and documenting that you are. What do I do to prepare for court? I take my case file, I take my 921, I take my 1033, I take it home with me, or I prepare at work and I look over my case file. I look over 921, make sure my definitions are nice and sharp, make sure that I've hit all my standards for my 1033, so that if they do question me as an expert or question my testimony, that I can say, hey, this is what I've done, this is my standards, what I'm up to, and I know these things are the way they should be because of my training. So what would I want to share with somebody coming into this profession? I'm coming into this profession. I'm just breaking the surface. I'm 1 year into it. But I can tell you this is a great profession. It's a lot more than I thought it was going to be. You know, you kind of think you have a grasp of things by watching CFI Trainer and by doing investigation stuff with your own research. But it's a lot more to it than that. And it's hard to get into a scene. You can't just jump into a scene and get some experience, but it is an amazing job. You learn a lot every single day, and you're constantly learning something new, and that's why I love it. It keeps me on my toes. It keeps me learning and keeps me just progressing to want to do more. And there's a lot of different things in this field, whether it be with the international, whether it be with your local chapter, or within your own department, that you can take the next step and make it a better profession and help others, and there's a lot of willing people out there to help you along your way as well. To be a fire investigator, this is what I've wanted to do for a long time, and like I said before, it wasn't exactly the right time 6 years ago for me to test, but that just made me want it more, and to know that what I've gone through and the hard work that I put in to be here and being on the job for a year, this is what I've wanted to do, and I love every second of it. There's a lot of people reaching out, and there's a lot of people that are willing to help me along my path, and I've got a lot to learn, and I'm excited for what the next chapter has for me.